Some call me the fear destroyer, but I'm here to talk to you today about fear and specifically about four surprising things that you need to know about fear. Now, uh, I deal with fear my own self, and one of the fears that I have is doing live videos. And I know it sounds kind of crazy now. Why would that be something that I fear? For me, it's simply about putting myself out there, about being vulnerable with people. And yet here I am out there being vulnerable because the chances are that you all have something that holds you back. One thing that keeps you awake at night or makes you hesitate before you say yes to something. Maybe makes you worry about the future. It's really simple. That thing is fear. Now, you don't have to be controlled by your fears because starting right now, you can get the upper hand. You can just turn the energy around, make it work for you. So here's four surprising things that you need to know now to take control of your own fear. And the first is that fear is normal. Just like it's normal for me to have this fear of being vulnerable, we all have fear. So don't beat yourself up too much over feeling fear. Studies show that we're actually programmed this way. Fear is hardwired into the human brain through the limbic system, and that sits deep inside our brain. There's neural networks that produce fear as a part of our normal brain function. So by taking control of your mindset, you can free yourself from this fear of failure or whatever it happens to be. If you think about it, being fearful actually makes sense. We need a certain amount of fear to develop judgment and to stay safe. Because back in the day of saber-toothed tigers, humans needed fear to survive. It's the root of that fight or flight reflex. Number two, fear is complex. It's not just chemical reactions in our brain. It's composed of all these different layers, starting with the instinctive reactions that we have through to just learned responses through the things that happen through our life. So learned behavior comes from discovering that particular animals or plants or people or situations are dangerous. In extreme cases, traumatic experience lead to phobias or even to exaggerated fears. Like if you were bitten by a dog when you were a child, for example, you might become obsessively afraid of dogs. Three, had to do a double check there. Your imagination feeds the fear. So your ability to think and reason and imagine, it leads to your fears becoming just irrational. You could look at an ocean and imagine it full of sharks. You can walk down a dark street and imagine it filled with pickpockets or thieves or even worse. Fear can easily tip over to anxiety when you imagine danger that just isn't there. And this can be a problem. If you're living in a heightened state of fear, you're not going to respond appropriately. In fact, you're just going to be primed to overreact. Like a fear of flying. A fear of flying, it sets you up for overreaction to turbulence or even unexpected noises. Or a fear of snakes might make a stick or a belt seem life-threatening. 4. Fear affects how you act. Because if you're constantly feeling fearful or feeling anxious, that will affect the decisions you make, the actions that you take in your life. At its worst, you can't act at all, but you just become paralyzed, unable to make a conscious choice. If you don't master your fears, you're going to miss out on making your life as fun, as happy, as successful as it could be. But you can choose. You can choose to take control and to use that energy in a positive, constructive way. And if you'd like to learn some more ways, some steps that you can take to conquer fear, I'm doing a free webinar coming up this Thursday called Be Audacious, 5 Steps to Conquer Your Fears. The link to that free webinar is right in this message. So click the link. It's an event, so you have to go get a free ticket through Eventbrite, which will give you all the information that you'll need to be audacious and have these 5 steps to conquer your fear. Looking forward to meeting you all. I'm Joshua Peters, Master Hypnotist, and you all have yourself an amazing day. Be well.